Hey, shalom, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'm gonna say all praises go to Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai by Hashem Rakakwadash, giving all praises to the children. No, all praises to Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai, my Father in heaven, the King of kings, the Lord of lords, the God of gods. There is no other God besides him. Much love to his beautiful son, Yahweh Shai, whom the world has ignorantly called Jesus Christ and other names that don't have no power. Much love to the children of Israel, the chosen children among Israel who accepted the new covenant, whoever they may be among them. Much love. Much love to the prophets, and they may not be from camp. They do things on their own, and they do everything in their power to show you how about Shem Yahshua that they love him and they fear him. Much love to the Akwaf, which they the Akim, but much love to the Akwaf, the beautiful women that is in the truth. And whether you got a man or not, you still fear the laws, statutes, and whether you got a man or not, you still fear the laws, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh, and you learn in silence. Coming back at you with another episode through the power and spirit of Yahweh Shem Shai. This one is going to be called The System. And with this one, we're going to get straight into it. And I'm going to have to start straight from the top because my phone had crashed, my tablet had crashed, and I got to make another one. So it says, we in Isaiah chapter 13, verse 1, and it's talking about the fall of the these Edomites. It's talking about the downfall and the destruction of these elites. As you can see, this picture. Let me zoom in with this picture. Is the woman in the sky and the great red dragon, and this painting is actually not accurate. The woman is actually black, and she's actually pregnant with Yahweh Shai, which is that man child that's going to give birth to take over the kings. The kings of the earth and to take over the earth, and that is the truth. She's pregnant with the truth, and the dragon seen that. So the woman is actually Israel. She represents Israel as a whole, but at the same time, she can mainly she represents the elect, those of them that hold the truth, those of them that know what's going on, those of them that call on the true name and of Yahweh Shem Shai, the true power, and that is who the dragon is after. He's not after the children of Israel that he's already conquered. He's after the ones that he has not conquered. He wants to destroy them and remove them, and in hopes of thinking that it would postpone Yahweh Shem Shai's coming. It would stop the rebirth of the world, and it would prevent Jacob from claiming rulership when that's not going to happen. This is what these ultra elites think, and this is what's in their minds. They're after the omnipresence, which is the spirit of Yahweh Shem Shai being everywhere at the same time. Current correct vocabulary. That's exactly what it is. And to be in every eyes of every living thing, in the animals, in the insects, in the ground, the air that you breathe, the sky, the trees, the water, the fish in the ocean, and in much and the people, and the people, his omnipresence. We all share that that one body, that one symbolic creation that gives us dominance over all things of the earth. And this is what he's after through his new system, through digital ID. Even though we know digital ID is that I'm not gonna say that, is that thing that you put in your hand. I'm not gonna say all that, but that's, you pretty much get what I'm trying to say. So that is exactly what he's after. And when he puts his hands on that omnipresence, then the full weight and the wrath of Yahweh Shem Shai is gonna come down on him. That means that his wrath will be complete, and the World War III will begin, and the nuclear fallout will be coming. So we're gonna read Isaiah chapter 14, verse 1, and it says, "For Yahweh will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel," meaning that in Christianity's, in the mind of a regular Christian, that doesn't know too well, they will believe that everybody's going. They will believe that Yahweh Shem Shai is going to choose every person that's good in the world, no matter what nation they in, no matter where they from, because they feel like if they gave their heart and their mind to Yahweh Shem, to God, because it's not to Yahweh Shem Shai, We don't even know which God that they worship. They don't even know. They just say they worship the Lord God and Jesus Christ. Now, understanding that it's pointing straight to either you calling on multiple different spirits or any spirits that can answer you, and then at the last side of it, you worship white supremacy, because that's exactly what the false Jesus Christ appearance is white supremacy. So, sorry, that's where they get the term as the world is given into the hands of the wicked, who cover up the faces of the judges of thereof. If not, where and who is he? Because he is a man. So the promise is not for everybody. It is for strictly the children of Israel. That's it. Nobody is going. Nobody is going. No, nobody is clear for salvation. They will be spared to a degree if they worship Yahweh Shem Shai and his children, which are the lower gods on the earth, through Yahweh Shai, of course. But in the eyes of a regular Christian, they reading a book on the surface level. We all know that the governments and the elites, they remix the Bible to the point to where a person wouldn't understand it. And then at the same time, one of their favorite rules is to hide something in plain sight. So they took a couple of books out the Bible and they changed a couple of words, but it's still the same book. So, for coons and much of our people that say, oh, the Bible was written by the government and this and that. No, all I have to do is put in your face. You refuse to read it and you refuse to study it. And that's how they've been getting by all these years. They might have changed something. They might have took a couple of books out and hidden it. But ultimately, the Bible is still the way it's always been. So when you understand that, you really have to do some studying and understand that, instead of being the average person that's allowing people to teach you, especially with these pulpit preachers and all that. These people that they program is to get you to get you off the path of knowing Yahweh Shem Shai, to get you to mislead you, misguide you. That is a job. That is a purpose. And the average Christian wouldn't understand the true translation of the Bible if they don't study or they don't have the proper guidance and they don't read. So they get the surface interpretation, which is Jesus Christ, which is the second and a third coming. I don't know how that's going to work. 7-year tribulation, the man of sin being revealed as that one man that's going to take over the world, and he's going to get everybody under the system when it's actually a group of people. The second coming is when when Jesus come down and he come and grab all the believers, and then the people that didn't believe, when he come on the third coming and he come back to destroy this devil, which is actually Lucifer, the fallen angel, demon Satan, when that's not even canon. The Bible does not call Satan a fallen angel. He's actually a power and a servant in heaven. That's it. He does everything. He does his job. His job is to do bad things. His job is to sow discord, to sow evil in the world. That's his job. It's not a rebellion. That's his job. It's that simple. So with that being said, even the book of Job even says that that is his job. That is what he does. So it denounces that there was a holy war, and that there was a holy war, and that Satan didn't want to bow in front of the Lord's creation, which was Adam. And he convinced one third of the angels to join him, and they tried to attack God, and he was defeated by Michael and his angels. And he fell from heaven, and his angels fell with him. When angels they never fall. They don't have that idea, and they never want. Who wants to go against Yahweh Shem Shai and lose everything? And I don't think that is something that the angels would want when they have everything. They got the cosmos, they got the world, they see all the secret things of creation. They in heaven, they feel no pain. You know, they are they are gods within their own rights. You know, the angels, and they serve Yahweh Shem Shai, and they are happy. So now, what in the world? Who would want to rebel when they actually have all the power and all the cosmos alongside of not even alongside them? The Creator is above. Yahweh is above them, but He gives them that freedom. He gives them that power. So it's like in the mind of an angel, it's like we would never rebel against the Lord, and it's true. They would never rebel. Now, the real interpretation from the eyes of a person that's not a Christian that reads the Bible and have that understanding is the Independence Day. That movie Independence Day is the actual interpretation of of the devil going against Yahweh Shem Shai and his forces and being defeated. And that was the the white man going against Yahweh Shem Shai's son Yahweh Shai and Michael and his armies that's gonna come from the stars. And they own galactic ships and all of that, and they own battle fleets and all that, and they ready to make war with this white man. But the white man, when he fought them, he didn't last an hour. He died. He didn't even make it throughout the day. He was destroyed, and his angels were destroyed with him. Now his version of the angels are the jet fighters, the gunships, the B-52 bombers, helicopters, tanks and all of that. That's his version of his angels, of his fallen angels. The elites and are the wicked demons. They are Satan. They are Satan. They are the devil. It's a man. It's not. It's not a fallen angel. The actual Satan, he has a counterpart on the earth. It's a race of evil people that sow discord and upset the balance. It's their purpose. So when you understand that, when you have that understanding and you know that, it's more of it's more accurate when you understand that beneath the surface. But to an average Christian, this is what they get. This is why it says, Isaiah chapter 14 verse 1, it says, for Yahweh will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land. Meaning that the Lord is only choosing the children of Israel. You got the Negroes, the Mexicans, the Indians, and you got the speckled bird. You got the Israelites that are scattered around the world, and you got the speckled bird, which are the ones that don't look like Negroes. They don't look like Mexicans. They don't look like Indians. They could look white. They could look Russian. They could look Chinese. But through the black man and his forefathers, through his seed, he can be an Israelite. So if the child was, if the black man slept with a Chinese woman and they had a baby, the child would still be an Israelite by the seed, and the child can be saved. And now if white man had laid with an Israelite woman, she has no seed. She's just a vessel. So if they had a child and the child came out black, that child will still be considered white and would not be saved because the child is not an Israelite. The child is still belonging to the white man through his father's seed. You see how that works? That it works perfectly. So it says, so for the covenant and for the nations, that is true. It is true. For the nations, that is true. Yahweh Shem Shai really don't care. He's really not concerned with you guys. You guys are a part of the world. You guys are a part of worldly things, and you guys are a part of the earth. So he's not gonna destroy you utterly. Yeah, you guys gonna accept your punishment and all that, but he's not gonna just wipe you out. But ultimately, with all due respect, his attention is on the children of Israel. Those are the most important thing to him. Those are the ones that that had the covenant with him. Those are his children. Those are the former gods. They are the angels on the ground. Them the ones that he's always cared about, and it'll never change. It's never going to change. I'm sorry. That is the truth. It's the truth. I'm sorry. And a lot of this, you don't even need to decode. A lot of this stuff is straightforward. The Lord is telling you, and it don't even need to be decoded. Like, so, yeah, the children of Israel will be chosen, and not even Israel will be chosen as a whole, but the ones that will restart Israel after they're gone is the elect. Those are the chosen among Israel, because we know, like they said, the average Christian, which is normally an Israelite that don't know who they are, is they believe in the white supremacy story. They don't believe in the the Hebrew Israelite story. And the Hebrew Israelite story is more on track and more accurate than the Christianity or the lie. So they believe that, and since they believe that, they are considered non-believers. They are considered forfeit, obsolete, and they will have to go through the second death, which is either the nuclear day or for them to die during the wars, during the pestilence, the famine, and the sword. During these times that are coming, the Lord won't spare them. He will consider them as an enemy, and He will destroy them. But they will come back. They will come back. Reincarnation is a real thing. That's why it's 8 point something billion people in the earth, and it's been like that for a while. And that is the reason why that number is steady, is because when the people die, they come back. They just come back in a different form. They don't remember anything, but by the spirit, you would be able to discern them if you had the power to see. So that right there is why they'll be back, but they'll be clean when they come back, and they'll be perfect when they come back. But for right now, they don't want to convert, they die. It's that simple. Yahweh Shem Yahshua is that direct. He's that honest. He has rules, promises. He got regulations. He got order. So that's just what it is. So at the end of the day, I'm just gonna say that, and for the people that's listening when this broadcast is put up, if you're not a part of the children of Israel and you're not a part of their family, because it's not really about color, it's about the spirit. Because Jacob is everywhere at this point. He is. He looks like everybody. Because he's mingled with everybody. That is true. So, it says, for Yahweh will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land. And the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Israel. So that's what's happening. The word is getting out right now in our time, in this day and age, that the truth is being spreaded. Whether there be groups of men on the highways and byways like these camps, or it could be just one man or a couple of guys that be by themselves. The word is spreading like wildfire, and a lot of these people are starting to understand that the Bible speaks the truth, and that the Negroes, the Mexicans, and Indians, the speckled bird, they are the true children of Israel according to the Bible. Yeah, they fit all the rules. They went through all the stuff. They fit the laws. They fit the event in Deuteronomy. They fit it all. Okay, perfectly. So a lot of these people are catching wind, and they are mingling, and they are joining alongside the children of Israel. But they cleave to them, meaning that at some point they will worship them because they are their original gods. Like how the white man replaced the gods, and these gods are even older than him. These gods were black people used to worship too. Kali, Zeus, Buddha, Azura, and other gods. They all used to be black, and before them, it was the Israelites. Everybody used to worship them. They are the real gods of this of this world that's on the ground. The angels on the ground, lower gods, as you would call them. But them the one, that's what the cleave mean. They gonna worship them in order for them to to be spared, in order for their nations to not be destroyed and not to be beaten down or go through war. They would have to worship Yahweh Shem Yahshua. They have to through His Son Yahweh Shai, and they would have to worship the children of Israel. They would have to. So and it's already happening. It's not happening yet, but when the more and more these dark times kick in, that's who they're gonna be looking at. It says, and the people shall take them. It says, and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of Yahweh for servants and handmaids. Meaning that in the kingdom of Israel, the new one that's going to be rebuilt after this one is destroyed, all those people that cleave to us, they go into slavery. All of them, all the nations, all the people that destroyed us, all the people that laughed at us, all the people that thought that white supremacy was above all things. Them the ones, all of them, they're all going into slavery. They're not totally spared. They're just not spared from the ultimate destruction that's going to take place on the Edomites, on the white people. They're not, and them the ones that's going to have the most brutal slavery, which we're going to get to. So it says, and it says Israel shall possess them in the land of Yahweh for servants and handmaids, and they shall take captives, whose captives they were. Right, we still in the land of our slavery, we still slaves, and they shall rule over their oppressors. And it shall come to pass in that day of Yahweh, in that day Yahweh shall give them rest from their sorrow. Right, from our suffering. The stuff that we go through every day, our suffering. Happen to go to sleep, and tomorrow you got to pay the bills and you don't have no money. Happen to worry about how you're gonna feed your kids. Happen to worry about what's gonna happen to your family and what's gonna happen to your wife if you don't pay the mortgage on the house. You know, happen to worry about the next night where you're gonna sleep at, because there's a lot of the children of Israel that are homeless. One time I was walking home from work, and when I walked past this dumpster, and it was this old double bed, and it was an Israelite man sleeping in the trash. He was sleeping in this dirty old bed, and he was sleeping in these cupboards full of these mites and all of that, and he was just trying to find a place to sleep, and he would sleep outside by the trash can. So you got to understand the depth of the suffering of Jacob. You got to understand the depth of the suffering of our people and what they went through and how bad they've suffered. Strung all the way from prostitution, strung out on drugs, to gang banging cults. Jacob is a lot of us is destroyed, and a lot of us is due to poverty, due to destruction and oppression. That's the result of what happened to Jacob. It's true. This is what the white people did, and this is the way they wanted to have us, and they wanted to keep us sleep and destruction and oppression, pretty much doing anything that they wanted to us, all the way from slaughtering, from killing us day to day, and to accusing us, of certain things, to making us look like the face of the criminal underworld and all of that, and the face of drugs, all that, you know. So it says, you will have rest from thy sorrow. That is the sorrow, poverty, oppression, death, destruction. That is the sorrow that Yahweh Shem Yahshua is talking about. And thy fear, the fear of somebody being over you, the fear of having to look over your shoulder, the fear of somebody trying to kill you, somebody trying to destroy you, all that is going to be gone. So it says, and from the hard bondage wherein thou was made to serve. That is true. That this was this slavery was, this was the worst slavery we've ever been through. And in the dark times ahead, we gonna face the worst of the worst that's coming, because the full wrath of Yahweh Shem Shai is about to come down on America. It is, without a doubt. It's already happening. We already seeing signs of it. It says, he that lead in captivity must go into captivity. He who kill with the sword must be killed with the sword. This is the faith and the patience of the saints. So with that being said, these Edomites and these white people are starting to feel the effects of what they've done. And this is only just the beginning. Ain't nothing really major happened to them, but we are seeing signs. We are seeing signs, and they gonna enter that hard bondage. So it said, and it's already gonna happen when the collapse happened. Like I said, they gonna get a war and a slaughter that is never been seen before. This is gonna be one of the biggest wars in history. This is gonna be one of the Yahweh Shem Yahshua, like I said, the full weight of his wrath that's gonna come down. Everything in his power. He really is going to destroy this enemy, our enemy, with an utter destruction. It's going to be bad. It's going to be bad. So it says that thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon, which is the white man. It says, and say, how have the oppressor ceased and the golden city ceased? Because the golden city is almost over with. We already seeing signs of that, with them wanting to cut off all these programs, them wanting to retract the money, them threatening to get rid of the dollar, them allowing a retail apocalypse to happen. So it's a lot of stores that's closing. That's a lot of stuff that's happening for them to deny the wishes of their own people, because that's what they're doing. The white people versus the white people. So the elites versus their own people, for them to get rid of them, because they thought that the white people, the lower white people, and the greedy white people were the same, and they not. They're literally not. but they all believe the elites have them believing in supremacy, which is the skin color, and they chose skin color over their living condition. That's exactly what happened. So now they becoming bums in their own society that they built, and these ultra rich versions of themselves is not even helping them. Like I said, a house divided, Satan fight against Satan, how shall his kingdom stand? That's a real term. That's what's happening. So it says, thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how have the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased. This is the golden city. This is the city of promise. This is where people came to have their American dreams and live off the backs of the children of Israel. That is true. Everything that we built, everything that we invented to enjoy our music, all the way to our movies, all the way down to athleticism, all the way down to working. All these nations have come down here to enjoy that. This is that golden city. So it says, Yahweh have broken the staff of the wicked. No more power. The power is leaving them. This is why they got to get that system up and running. This is why they got to get that digital ID on, because this is their last attempt to have power, to keep it. And the sceptre of the rulers. He who smote the people in wrath with a continuous stroke. Right. He have to rule the nations in anger and persecuted, and no one stopped him. None hindered. Nobody stopped him. Nobody. So it says the whole earth is at rest, right? When the Israelites come back into power and they form their governments and they form they become the elites, they gonna rule the world, and it's gonna be fair. So it says, yeah, the fir trees rejoice at thee, meaning that the tree is reverting to a family or a group of people, not just a tree. Like a regular Christian is gonna think he's talking about a damn tree, and he's not. It says, in the cedars of Lebanon, saying, since thou art laid down, no feller have come against us. Meaning that after this white man is out, after he's down, after he's gone, it ain't gonna be no more enemies for the children of Israel, because they're gonna have the power. They're gonna have the power of invulnerability. They're gonna have the power of invincibility. They're gonna be gods. No one is not gonna contend with the children of Israel. No one is not gonna be able to touch them. No, never again. So it says, hell from beneath is moved to meet thee, to move for thee, to meet thee at thy coming, to stir up the dead for thee. So that poverty and everything that the children of Israel have went through, and all the destruction and the fire that we've been in for so long and forgotten about, the Edomites and the white men, they got to go through that fire. And the fire is the flame of poverty. It's not hell that's underneath the ground and a bunch of people is living in a lawless land, and they away from the eyes of Yahweh Hashem Yahshua, and the Lord don't care about what they do. No, there's an order. Heaven is a power. They have an order to things. They have rules. Yahweh Hashem Yahshua is well structured. So they got to pay for the things that they've done. And it's going to be here on the earth. It ain't going to be left behind, forgotten about in the ground. It don't work like that. You ain't going to get away like that. That's like a quick getaway. There's a saying that it says it is better to rule in hell than to serve in heaven. So that's their saying. They would rather rule in hell than to serve in heaven, because if they got to serve in heaven, they would be slaves. They would be slaves. The system would no longer belong to them. They wouldn't have no more royalty. They would go poor. They would go broke. And like I said, in the next world to come, they will be so broke, they're going to be sleeping on the stones. They're going to be the bums in the golden cities. They're going to be the homeless people that's in slavery, and they're going to be kissing the Israelite feet. They're going to be begging for mercy, and the Israelites is not going to really show them much mercy. And all the world is going to know who these people are. Everybody going to know them. They're going to be famous bums, and at the same time forgotten about. Like that man that was sleeping in the garbage, like that Israelite man that was sleeping in the garbage. That's how they're going to be. And they still going to have to get up and go deal with their slavery. So it says, hell from beneath is moved for thee, to meet thee at thy coming. So hell is a living condition. It is. Being broke, being homeless, happen to go through trials and tribulations every day, happen to worry about where you're going to stay at, or even if you're able to keep your house without somebody coming to take it, you barely happen to pay rent, you happen to deal with a dysfunctional family, people are against you, we're against each other, we're competing against one another instead of uniting, We're killing each other. That's exactly what's happening with our children too. All gang banging cults, all the way down to drug addicts, drug lords, constantly poisoning our people, all the way to prostitution, the shamefulness of our women and how they abuse their power, how they don't want to unite with their own man, all the way down to the wickedness of the children, due to no structure, no order in the house, no father in the house. The children are growing up self-destructive, wicked, drugged out, they dying. It's a lot. This is what hell is. Hell is on earth. The living condition. The living condition for the children of Israel is being broke and poor. Now, you may have certain Israelites that live wealthy and all that. It does happen. There is a balance to all this, but at the same time, not for the mass majority of the children of Israel. Not all of them are rich. Not all of them prosper. Not all of them live comfortable lives. And most importantly, we all still under the system and we ain't free, whether it be rich or poor. We still, in the eyes of the ultra rich, in the eyes of these elites, in the eyes of these bankers and these cult members, in the eyes of the white man, we are worth nothing. We just a part of the slaves, a part of the system. But we are special. We hold the light and we hold the promise. And that's exactly what he's trying to destroy and oppress. So it says, hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. It stirred up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. It has raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations. Because they can't believe that their leader had fell and fell into poverty by the same people that he ruled over. That's going to be a cosmic joke. The Lord going to laugh in that day. So it says, all they shall speak unto thee and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like us? Because they're going to be in slavery too. And the leader that they was following, which is this, which is the white man, this dragon that they was following, he got his butt kicked and he in slavery with the rest of them. So they all going to know who he is, who they are. So it says, the pomp is brought down to the grave and the noise of the vials. The worm is spread under thee and the worms cover thee. So this can go into debt. And it can also go into the poverty that's coming for them because they are also in debt. They broke, they also in debt. And at the same time, whatever little money that they got, whatever royalties and ultra rich that they do have, they don't want to share it with nobody else. They greedy. So it says, how art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer? So heaven is rulership. Heaven is rulership. That's what that means. Heaven is rulership and heaven and hell is poverty. So it says, O Lucifer, son of the morning, how art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend to heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of Yahweh. I will also sit upon the congregation in the north, in the sides of the north. It says, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. It says, yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. You're going to be at the gutter. And that's exactly what Yahweh Shem Shai is going to do. By the time he's done with him, he's going to be in slavery and he's going to be homeless and he's going to be in the gutter. He's going to be sleeping in pits. They're going to be the sewers under the golden cities. They're going to be the sewers under the nations. That's how bad it's going to be. And, the only time they're going to be called out is when it's time to build and it's time to go through their slavery. So it says, and this is the omnipresence that Yahweh Shem Shai was talking about. So let me grab that. Which is that system that he's trying to put together. So let me grab that. And it's so impressive and it's so perfect because this was seen for a long time ago. They tried to enact this a long time ago, but they didn't have the technology to do it. This is what the prophets were seeing a long time ago. It probably came in a form of branding, it came in that kind of form, with certain marks of certain things that would mark the slaves that would be a part of that system. but they tried to what they tried to accomplish with the lack of technology. They can do it now in this day. It says Revelations 13 verse 1. It says, and I stood upon the sand of the sea, and I saw a beast rising up out of the sea, coming up out of the people, coming up out of the nations, because the sand and the sea, they represent people. So it says, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns. These are nations from different times that were very powerful. Nations, the nations that are teaming up with the dragon today to claim this omnipresence. So it says, and upon his head the name of blasphemy, meaning that the name of God and Jesus Christ. That's that blasphemous name to go against Yahweh Shem Al Shai. That's the Antichrist. So it says, and the beast which I saw was unto like a leopard, and his feet were the feet of a bear. It says, and I think it's going into Rome, and the feet of the bear is the end of Rome through Russia. It says, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion, and the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority, because this is the second leg of the Roman Empire. That's what America is. Rome's resurrection. And I saw one of the heads as they were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast, meaning that the Roman Empire was resurrected after they were defeated by the Israelites long ago. So it says, and they worshiped the dragon, which gave power to the beast, and they said, worship the beast. They said, worship the beast, saying, who is like the beast, who is able to make war with him? It says, and there was given unto him a mouth, speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months. And he opened his mouth, and in blasphemy against Yahweh, to blaspheme his name. That's what he did. He denounced, there is no God, I am the God. Forget about Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. I am your only God. I am Jesus. So it says, and his tabernacle and them that dwell in heaven. So it's a man that's going against the angels, going against Yahweh, going against Yahweh Shai and the angels. There, he's going against the Israelites. He's going against them that dwelleth in heaven, and the ones that's rightful, the rightful rulers of heaven. So it says, and it was given to him to make war with the saints and to overcome them, and power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. It says, and all that dwell upon the earth, all shall worship him, whose name are not written in the book of life of the Lamb, slain from the foundation of the world. That's exactly it. They don't belong in the new covenant. It says, and if any man let him hear. Listen to what these prophets are saying. He that leaveth the captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword be killed with the sword. Here's the patience and the faith of the saints. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and had 2 horns like a lamb, democratics and republics, and he spake as a dragon, meaning that they seem innocent because there's a good and the bad, but at the same time they work under one power. They're all together. They're all in cahoots with one another. It's all a scam. And he that exerciseth the first beast before him causeth the earth and them that which therein to worship the beast whose first deadly wound was healed. That's right. And he doth great wonders, so that he make a fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. That's nuclear event. That's war. Those are missiles. And he that deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had the power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast which had the wound by the sword and did live, meaning that they was defeated long ago and put into slavery by the Israelites during the Dark Ages. When the Renaissance came up, it was the rebirth after the Israelites went back into slavery. It says, and he had the power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should speak, and cause they that would not worship the image of the beast that should be killed. That's the new system. It says, and cause of all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive the mark in the right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man may buy or sell, save that he have the mark or the name of the beast, that number of his name. Here is wisdom, and let him have the understanding to count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. So with that, calling Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai by Shimmer Kakwadash. This has been, the title is the system, and I'm gonna get another one in And this was just actually a quick one to my longer versions. But with that being said, I might post the other ones that I got too. And with that, it's on to the next episode. Much love to you guys that are listening. And my broadcast will be set up properly in the future, and it'll be there for anybody to see. And with that, Shalom. I'm out.